Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the News at 7, streaming on CBS News Philadelphia and on Philly 57. I'm Jan Carabeo.
And I'm Aziza Schuler. Jim and Janelle are off today. Thank you for joining us. First, let's get the next weather forecast with meteorologist Andrew Kozak in our CBS Philadelphia Next Weather Sphere. Good morning, Andrew. We're starting out close to the 60s.
Yeah, a lot of us only within a couple of degrees as we head into the afternoon versus 60 degrees. It is a very nice start to the morning out there. We showed you that beautiful shot from our camera as we open up the doors to our weather sphere. Same deal. There'll be a few more clouds this morning, but by this afternoon, we'll be back into full sunshine and maybe not as warm as we were yesterday, sure. But overall, not a whole lot of complaints, I'm sure, with highs well into the 50s. We start in the 50s, we end in the 50s. There's really not much of a difference from morning to night. Right now, the radar shows that we really have just a couple of showers well out in eastern Long Island. That's it. Next 8 hours for us, a very nice bright afternoon. You will not need the heavy coats at all. 56 at lunchtime, 55 at 4 o'clock. In between, we'll hit a high of 57 degrees. Take a look at the clouds and radar futurecast into tonight. We keep things nice and clear into the evening hours, and we're going to stay that way. That means that the temperatures will drop. In fact, tonight will be chilly for sure. But again, I don't think a whole lot of complaints out there. 58 degrees in Atlantic City for today, 55 Wildwood, 57 in Millville, near 60 down in Delaware, and even the Poconos getting up to around 50 degrees. Now coming up, we'll talk about New Year's Eve, which is tomorrow. A little bit of rain in the forecast. We might even have a non-severe rumble of thunder, believe it or not. We'll talk about ringing in the new year and then the massive drop in temperatures. It's going to get really cold as we head into next week. We'll talk about that and have a look at your 7-day plan in just a couple of minutes. But first, it is Monday. You might need to get out on the roads. Kim has you covered. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. Right now, we're looking really good along 422 westbound with the headlights here at Trooper Road. Same thing eastbound with the tail lights, a little bit of volume there. Also, we're looking good on the Blue Route southbound with the tail lights at Westchester Pike. Same thing northbound for the headlights. Not a lot of volume out there right now. Smooth sailing. 95 near Cotman Avenue, especially southbound, would normally be a parking lot right about now, but we are flowing freely both north and southbound on 95 near Cotman. Also, the Schuylkill at Spring Garden looking a little busier, but still eastbound with the headlights there. We are looking really good. We do have a little bit of sheen on the roads because those roads are wet. If you're taking 95 southbound from Bucks County down into Center City, it'll take you 13 minutes. If you're taking the Schuylkill eastbound from the Blue Route down into the Vine, 13 minutes as well. Jan?
All right, Kim, thanks so much. Philadelphia International is again a holiday travel hotspot with tens of thousands of people expected to go through that airport this morning.
It's shaping up to be a busy day. CBS Philadelphia reporter Brandon Golder is live in South Philly. Brandon, the lines keep getting longer.
Good morning. That's right, Aziza and Jan. Pretty long lines right now. Take a look at security lines right now. We're looking about 30 to 35 minute wait. A lot of people coming through. 93,000 people expected to pass through the airport today. Let's take a look at security lines from yesterday just to see the difference. We saw a lot less people yesterday, last night. A good amount of people able to get through smoothly. No issues there. Right now, from what our understanding is that 1.3 million people are expected to travel through the airport this holiday season. That's a 13% spike compared to this time last year, and that's just a half percentage point lower compared to the record the airport set in 2019 and 2020 before the pandemic. We talked to a lot of passengers out here, some of them rushing to get to their flights. A few were able to stop and talk to us for a few minutes.
It is crowded this morning. You got to get here early. You already know how the line's going to be and all that, so I'm prepared. I'm going TSA pre-check.
Plan ahead, and hopefully I got here an hour and a half early. I don't know, but it just usually works out. That's all I can say. I usually get where I'm going with no problem.
Just get to the airport early and give yourself plenty of time.
And according to Philadelphia International Airport's website, in terms of arrivals and departure flights, so we're looking at over 20 delays and some cancellations as well. According to numbers that the airport projects, it's expected to dip down the number of passengers coming through here on Tuesday and Wednesday before picking back up towards the end of the week. Back to you, Jan.
All right, another busy day ahead. Brandon, thanks so much. In other news now, tributes continue to pour in for former President Jimmy Carter. After a series of hospital stays and health battles in recent years, the Carter Center says he died yesterday afternoon. Carter made his 4 decades in retirement a remarkable second act dedicated to philanthropy and faith. Here's CBS News Philadelphia anchor Natasha Brown.
In February 2023, former President Jimmy Carter entered home hospice care in his native Plains, Georgia. After a series of short hospital stays, the 39th president decided to spend his remaining time at home with his family and receive hospice care instead of additional medical intervention.
My name is Jimmy Carter, and I'm running for president.
He served 1 term in the White House after defeating incumbent President Gerald Ford. But high inflation and a weak economy and foreign policy challenges, most notably the taking of American hostages in Iran, contributed to his 1980 re-election loss to Ronald Reagan. Carter didn't slow down after leaving the White House. He built homes with Habitat for Humanity, including in North Philadelphia in the late 1980s, where his project turned a trash-strewn vacant lot into 10 two-story houses for families in need. Jimmy Carter wrote more than 20 books and established a Center for Human Rights. The former president's humanitarian efforts were vast and extended well into his late 90s. In 2002, Carter was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his work in the Middle East and Third World nations.
There's a lot of exciting things to be done now in this, wonderful phase of my life.
Carter was always known as a man of great faith, religiously attending his home church in Plains, Georgia, until he could no longer physically make it there. His leadership and legacy created a deep sense of appreciation and respect from both Democrats and Republicans, along with leaders around the world. Jimmy Carter was 100 years old.
And that was Natasha Brown reporting. Last night, while addressing the nation, President Biden remembered Carter's legacy and announced that his state funeral in Washington will be held on January 9th and will also be a national day of mourning.
Jimmy Carter lived a life measured not by words, but by his deeds. Just look at his life's work. He worked to eradicate disease not just at home, but around the world. He forged peace, advanced civil rights, human rights, promoted free and fair elections around the world.
While the White House did not immediately announce specific plans, state funerals for presidents usually include lying in state at the U.S. Capitol and a memorial service at the Washington National Cathedral.